This is Manindrago from Batam. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Sela Sadakau from Vatukola. I only listen to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold Benaka, I'm Vale and I'm working at Golden Pro Resort and I love listening to Gold FM because it plays a really wide range of classic music.
I'm Saini Sakio from Kashmir Wotoka. I like Gold FM, but only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Spade. This is FBC News. Tonight, SEDELPA leader Rotemu Mokepa says it's time to hand over leadership. 63 villages to relocate after tropical cyclone Winston, and Chinese contractor to repair 2 Suva bridges. But first tonight, National Federation Party MP Thupon Ranindalo has been referred to the Parliamentary Privileges Committee over what appeared to be an out-of-order comment. Speaker of the House Dr. Chico Luveni made the decision this morning after hearing audio recordings of comments passed by Ranindalo while Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy was speaking yesterday. The following is a short excerpt from those proceedings with Dr. Luveni's subsequent decision.
Honorable Ranindalo called the Minister for Education a fool.
In his speech, calling us damn natives, you idiot.
I have decided there is a prima facie breach of privilege, and I hereby refer the matter to the Privileges Committee for its consideration. The Privileges Committee is directed to meet today at 2nd June 2016 and provide its report to Parliament for tabling in Parliament on Friday, 3rd June 2016. And Parliament shall consider the report of the Privileges Committee tomorrow.
Ranindalo's comment is believed to have been directed at Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum. Opposition leader Rotemu Mokepa does not see herself contesting the leadership of the Social Democratic Liberal Party. The SEDELPA annual general meeting in 3 weeks will elect a new leader after changes to the party constitution. Ellen Stolz tells us more.
Rotemu Mokepa told FBC News outside Parliament this morning that it was time for her to make room for new leadership.
No, it is something that I believe that I have come to the point where there are other people that can take up that leadership role that are here in Parliament and also maybe out there.
The new leader, Rotemu says, will be chosen by the management board and the electorate. She also refused to comment when asked who a suitable replacement would be when her term expires.
The AGM, which will be later this month, will be looking at the replacement.
In the running are MPs Viliame Ngavoka, Ratu Iso Tikotha and former Prime Minister Sitiveni Rambuka. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
It's extremely urgent that the world realizes what Fiji suffered after TC Winston and the future that awaits us because of extreme weather events. This was stressed by Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama in his ministerial statement about recent overseas visits. Farzana Nisha has more.
Improve the living standards of our people.
Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama's visits included China, New York, Turkey and Papua New Guinea, seeking assistance after tropical cyclone Winston and telling the world about climate change.
To adapt to this new era that climate change presents with urgency and absolute resolve. To make it our #1 national priority to build our resilience to similar events. And for that, we need to partner with the international community. Madam Speaker, the Attorney General and Minister for Finance and I agreed that as soon as we had coped with the immediate needs of our people, we needed to fan out across the world and tell Fiji's story.
Bainimarama says donations are needed to strengthen homes, schools, hospitals, health centers, and all manner of infrastructure. The industrialized nations, according to the Prime Minister, owe it to us to help confront the problem they created.
We didn't cause this crisis, you did. The industrialized nations, whose carbon-emitting industries have made them rich, but at the expense of the health of our planet. Because the global warming, those carbon emissions, has provided small nations like Fiji with the biggest threat to our survival that we have ever faced in that entire sweep of human history.
Well, I think the government has done more than enough for the people of Fiji and has been supported from abroad also.
Yes, the government did a lot for everybody.
I think the government is giving good enough.
Bainimarama feels that he owes it to the ordinary Fijians to put the challenge we face in the starkest possible terms so that everyone understands what's at stake. However, the issue was handled more diplomatically when Fiji appeared on the world stage. Farzana Nisha, FBC News.
Work is now underway to relocate 36 villages in the aftermath of tropical cyclone Winston. Minister for Natural Disaster Management Inia Ratu says this is part of the Rebuilding Lives concept in response to the widespread damage and the effects of climate change. Maggie Boyle has more.
The effects of climate change and the most ferocious cyclone in Fiji's history means a number of Fijians will have to move house.
63 villages have been identified and have also indicated their willingness to relocate. Out of that 63 villages, Madam Speaker, 36 have gone through what we call the initial process, where they have consented and Itoke Affairs has moved in to do the village boundary survey.
Minister responsible Inia Ratu says there is an interagency committee overseeing all relocations led by the Itoke Affairs Ministry.
The PDNA for the members of this Honourable House has been completed and has been submitted to Cabinet as well, and likewise right now the process of the recovery framework is also going through Cabinet, so that will detail the Rebuilding Lives concept.
In Parliament today there were several supplementary questions on government's assistance.
Sort of plans for them if they build a house now, come the approval that they have to be relocated. Who's going to shift or rebuild their homes again?
Just, the communities themselves, they know their current position, Madam Speaker. If there are any doubts, they refer to the interagency committee.
All up, there are 63 villages earmarked for relocation. With the 36 in the pipeline, 27 communities have yet to begin the initial process, from getting consent from all the villages to having somewhere to move to. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Work has begun on the Watuanga and Stinson parade bridges. Minister for Local Government Parvin Bala confirmed this in reply to Opposition MP Prem Singh's question on why construction on both bridges hasn't started, despite assurance last year that work would begin in 2016.
Moves are underway to repair Suva's Watuanga Bridge and Stinson Parade Bridge, which have been closed for 6 years now.
I maintain that the works have started. That does not mean that you put hundreds of workers there, the diggers, the crane, the construction workers. That means that the construction work is started.
Infrastructure Minister Parvin Bala confirms China Railway 14 is in charge, having signed an implementation contract with the Fiji Roads Authority.
I have said the contract has been signed between the contractor and the Chinese government. So you don't worry about the fund. The fund is coming from China.
The total cost for both bridges is around $30 million. The Fiji Roads Authority, meanwhile, has its hands full with close to 300 other bridges needing immediate repairs.
You know, on the Queen's Road, we have 193 bridges. On the King's Road, we have 104 bridges. Currently, the visual inspection has identified a total of 7 high-priority bridges on these critical arterial routes, and a further 24 bridges which are medium-high priority.
Detailed inspections of all bridges will be carried out in the coming months to ensure safety and security of all road users.
Coming up on FBC News, Elections Office begins voter registration for students, and growing success for Fijian-made brands. Stay with us.
FM rocks. my name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Hulamila. I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks in Raki Raki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks. We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. A study has found that the Consumer Credit Act has gaps that need fixing. Industry and Trade Minister Fayaz Koya has told Parliament that a review is underway to provide immediate protection for consumers. Akosita Tale reports.
The exercise is a comprehensive revision of the consumer credit laws, and Minister Fayaz Koya says it will include disciplining credit providers.
With the financial sector becoming more and more important and consumers becoming more vulnerable, the nature and type of disclosure, Madam Speaker, needs improvement. And the methodology for the calculation of interest rates, fees and charges also need to be simplified and clearly laid out in the Act.
The current Consumer Credit Act is deemed too technical and needs to be simplified for easier understanding and application.
And there's also a lack of enforcement, poor consumer awareness of rights, onus on consumers to prove the breach of rights, inaccessible and costly redress mechanism. Madam Speaker, these are the things that will actually require in order it justifies the review of the Act.
The Consumer Credit Act was put in place to provide for the rights and responsibilities of both the consumers and credit providers. However, Koya says the increase in complaints to his ministry and the Consumer Council has led to the comprehensive review. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
Sawmillers are checked regularly to ensure they comply with the Environment Management Act. This was confirmed by Environment Minister Pravin Bala after a question from the opposition MP Moses Mbulitavu. Savaira Tumboa has more.
This is Tingawa River in Lambasa, which the opposition claims is clogged with timber cut-off and debris from Valembasonga sawmills.
My ministry, through the Department of Environment, has conducted monitoring activities at the sawmill operation areas to ensure environmental compliance and best practice at all times. Further to that, Madam Speaker, I have got a report from Loram which states that our dredging operation team have advised that they have not seen any timber offcuts dumped at the Ngawa River mouth.
Pravin Bala proved the opposition claims to be incorrect, saying the sawmill recycles everything it can.
The company is committed to ensuring the protection of Fiji's environment by imposing proper waste management procedures within its operation, and this includes use of waste timber as a resource for other products. Madam Speaker, my ministry, through the Department of Environment, has conducted monitoring activities at the sawmill operation areas to ensure environmental compliance and best practice at all times.
Under the Environment Management Act, every commercial or industrial facility that disposes or discharges waste must have a permit. Parliament was told that Valembasonga Mill does have this permit and has been complying with requirements. Sabaira Tambua, FBC News.
The Fijian Made campaign has registered 1,551 products to date. Minister for Trade Fayaz Koya told Parliament this morning that licenses for Fijian Made products have also been issued to 331 companies, and the number is growing. Shireen Shivan reports.
The Fijian Made brand has been a success, encouraging people to opt for products made locally. Trade Minister Fayaz Koya says it is also encouraging to note that the regional markets are also aware of the Fijian Made brand and value.
It is also very encouraging to note that the regional markets also are aware of what Fijian Made brand and value is. The Pacific Island markets are able to relate to the Fijian Made brand, and it is easily recognizable, trusted, and consumers have confidence that they are getting value for money.
Koya says tourism events such as the Fijian Tourism Expo provides the platform for promoting Fijian-made products at a global level, reaching millions of customers.
With an annual government investment of around $300,000 to hold the expo, the possible business outcomes to this are absolutely immense. In addition to this, as I had also alluded to earlier, Madam Speaker, the Fijian Crafted Village received success with their Fijian crafted products and achieved sales, substantial sales. And 14 artisans showcasing their products.
176 craftsmen are currently registered under the Fijian Made by Fijian campaign. Sharin Shivan, FBC News.
$30 million will be spent on repair and rebuilding by the Fiji Electricity Authority. This was confirmed by FEA Board Chair Nizamuddin. Sainiani Boiler has more.
The Fiji Electricity Authority will have a final rehabilitation bill once all work is complete. But it's not going to be cheap.
We estimate it will be about 30 million by the time we finish. Nothing less. 30 million at least, yes. It depends because we're calling in contractors to rebuild some of those towers, and it all depends on how much they'll quote. But around figure would be 30, could be worse.
Dean says FEA staff are working around the clock to restore electricity to 9,000 customers still without electricity.
So something like about 8,000, 9,000 customers are still off, mostly in the settlements and villages. So now that we've completed the main roads, the main lines, the high tension lines, what we call, we now have to go inside and start doing that work. And that is the harder bit. We'll say about 90% has been done. 90%, but that last 10% is the hard one.
Infrastructure Minister Parvin Bala has also assured members of Parliament that restoration work is on track.
Post the Category 5 cyclone, Madam Speaker, we are on the road to full recovery within 6 months. By the end of August this year, we will be back to full power service delivery across Fiji.
Bala adds TC Winston has reinforced the need to roll out more underground cables. Sainiani Boiler, FBC News.
2 months from the 2016-2017 budget, the Reserve Bank of Fiji says our economic state of affairs is in good stead. This has been attributed to how two leading sectors have been performing. Madhyam Bolaitamana has more.
The tourism industry tops the list for government earnings in the first quarter of the year with the influx of visitors.
This year, we had earlier expected visitor arrivals to grow by 5%, but now we have revised it upwards based on the data that we have seen so far in the first 4 months. So we expect visitor arrivals to be up by 8% and tourism earnings to be up by 8%. So somewhere very close to just above 1.6 billion will be our tourism earnings this year.
The Reserve Bank says the performance of Fiji's second biggest money earner has been impressive and is likely to yield unprecedented growth this year.
Personal remittance, if you combine sugar, gold, water, it's more than that. This year, so far this year, we've seen a growth of somewhere around 10% in personal remittances over the first 4 months, and we think that personal remittance will again grow this year to a new record of very close to 600 million this year.
There's also been a substantial amount of borrowing from all lending facilities in the first 4 months of the year.
When you look at the data so far in the first 4 months of this year, again, seems to be the same. The trend seems to be similar. There's been increase in new loans over the first 4 months compared to any time that we've recorded in history. Almost 700 or slightly above 700 million in new loans are given in just the first 4 months of this year.
Riding on the back of positive economic growth in the last 3 years, the government anticipates a bigger, better 2017 as it formulates a new budget. Madhyam Bolaitamana, FBC News.
We turn to sports now. Here's Jamie with the very latest.
Nakajaki, and good evening. In sports after the break, a mixture of local and overseas players in Flying Fijian squad. And Oceania Tennis Championships get underway in Suva. This and more coming up.
Untuk talita kana warong na Bula FM number 2 na sir. Bula mana Fiji, nada ko plasio matairi, ngon mai na nan bula tabiuni, au satu ko nanti antu talita ina warong na Bula FM.
Bula FM number 2 na sir.
Vodafone Flying Fijian's coach John McKee has welcomed 7 new law changes that come into effect next month. McKee says the changes will be good for the Fijian style of free-flowing rugby and his team is ready to adopt. Vashnil Prasad with the details.
Well, they're going to get first use of the football just
World Rugby has announced the new law changes in the 15th code effective from July. Flying Fijians coach John McKee believes it's a good move, especially the changes to the maul.
The main change there is around the maul and not allowing the ball carrier to slip back in the maul. I think that's quite an important one. And I think it makes the maul a bit fairer in terms of a contest.
The new laws are focused on scrum. There are no turnovers following a 90-degree wheel during a scrum. The defending scrum half can't stand between the flanker and the number 8 once the ball is fed. The player must run back 5 meters. Though Fiji won't be using it in the Pacific Nations Cup, McKee confirms World Rugby has cleared some doubts.
Looking at some of the other changes there, I think it's really good because they've clarified some areas that were probably a little bit of grey areas around the halfback, around the scrum and that type of thing. And I think it's good that they'll speed the game up through making sure that teams play the ball from the back of the scrum quickly when the ball's available, and also forming the scrum up quickly.
The changes have already been in practice in Super Rugby, but the Flying Fijians will only get a feel of it in the November tour.
For the Flying Fijians, any law change that open the game up and speed the game up are good for us.
Teams are now also required to be ready for a scrum within 30 seconds of the referee's call. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Still with the Flying Fijians, overseas-based players have started to arrive to prepare for the Pacific Nations Cup. With some regular veterans rejoining the side, players from the Warriors and Under-20 teams have also been included in the extended squad. Vashnil Prasad with the details.
It's back to business for the Flying Fijians, regrouping 6 months after the World Cup. Leading the charge at the training session today was Worcester Warriors lock Tevita Dovumbati.
Every game is a tough game for us, so getting the ranking as well, so we have to work as a team, and I think the team is being picked as a very good side as well, so it's about working together and producing results. Yeah.
Big names on the world stage, Ben Volavola, Nemea Kenatale and Sunia Koto are also here. 37-year-old Serma Yambai is back into action, hoping to power his way into a very quick backline.
He's a very experienced, he's been there, he's done that, so we look up to him, so he leads the team as well, so it's very good to have him as in the squad.
McKee has also picked local players, including Nandronga's informed Eremasi Ranonro.
I'm trying to improve on my training and skills, trying to ask them for what to do, the skills and all, how to play. And I get to learn more about being in a Flying Fijian.
Ranronro is expected to fill in vacuum left by Akapusing Gera and Domenico Wanganimburutu in the Pacific Nations Cup.
But plenty opponent there. We had to playing for the number 8, but I'll try my best, doing everything I got, and hope I get a chance for next week's game.
Players part of the training session today are giving it their all to impress the coaches, but expect the competition to get stiffer as more overseas players arrive into the country on Monday. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Competition at this year's Fiji International will be at an all-time high. This as the best players from the European Tour and PGA Australasian Tour converge for the co-sanctioned event, making for some top-class golf at the prestigious Natandala Bay Championship course in Singatoka.
The star players, we're in talks with them at the moment. What I can tell you is because of the European Tour co-sanctioning, the strength of field will be a lot stronger than previous years. European Tour is one of the biggest tours of the world. We have some great players lined up. As you know, I can't tell you who they are, but in the next couple of months, I think you're going to like who you hear is coming to play in the Fiji International this year.
The Fiji International will be held from the 3rd to the 9th of October. The Vodafone Fiji football side admits it will need to iron out some weaknesses before its last pool match against Vanuatu in the OFC Nations Cup in Papua New Guinea. The Fijians lost to New Zealand 3-1 in their opener and went on to beat the Solomon Islands 1-0 in a closely fought match last night. Team captain Roy Krishna says they are happy to have 3 points from their second game, but his side will need to come out stronger against Vanuatu.
Tough 3 games, and we were very disappointed with the first game. We played really good in the first half, but like we said, we were the best team in the pitch today, and we need to step up in our mistakes that we considered today and move on for the next game.
Fiji plays Vanuatu at 6 p.m. on Saturday. You can watch that match live on FBC TV. The Oceania Tennis Championships, held every 2 years, is being hosted in Fiji starting today. The Victoria Courts and the Suva Tennis Courts have already seen some spectacular action from the 14 participating countries, each in the running for the regional titles. Chale Ndadakadaka has more.
This is the first time the Oceania Tennis Championship has come to Fiji, and officials are hoping it will promote the sport locally.
It'd be great to see people coming down, seeing local Fijian players being involved, really showing that tennis is a sport that can be played throughout the whole Pacific. There is a big drive from the International Tennis Federation and Oceania Tennis to get tennis out to communities, out to villages, out to schools, to show everyone tennis is a sport for all ages and all abilities.
60 players from around the region are competing, and local players have so far managed to stand their ground.
I won my first match. I think I played very well because the Guam team is very strong. So we're happy with our performance and we're looking forward to the next match that we're going to play soon.
19-year-old Heavy Kelly of Tahiti is now based out of New Zealand, but hopes to play well in order to land a scholarship to the US.
It's an honor, a pleasure to come here. Great hospitality, and I played this tournament 2 years ago and I came third, so I look forward to play good.
The best youth players in the region will be in action here at the courts from now until next Thursday in the individual and team events. Talent Odakadaka, FBC Sports.
That's it from sports this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
The South Pacific Tourism Organization has a new chief executive officer. Christopher Cocker was appointed by the SPTO board last month. Cocker replaces Ratu Ilisoni Buenriketi, who served on 2 terms. The next South Pacific Tourism Exchange will be held in Sydney, Australia next May. It was a fine day with morning showers in the eastern side of the country while the west remained dry. Looking at the temperatures, they were about the same everywhere. Lambasa was the warmest at 32, while Ba was at 31, whereas the other major centres were in the high 20s. Tomorrow will be sunny with occasional early morning showers in most parts of the country. And the further outlook, it looks like the trend of overcast conditions will continue into the weekend. At sea, southeast winds gusting up to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. And recapping the main stories for tonight. Opposition leader Rotemu Mukepa says it's time to hand over the reins of SEDALPA leadership. NFP MP Tupon Ranindalo referred to Parliamentary Privileges Committee and 63 villages to relocate after TC Winston. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Time for this week's poll question. We are asking, should Fijians be redeployed to Sinai if the security situation improves? To answer, visit our FBC website. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.
आपको खरगंगा की रंजिला का नमस्कार। रेडियो फिजी की सुंदर सुंदर यादों का खजाना एकदम बचपन के दिन याद करा देते हैं।
हमारा नाम जोनी नायडू है, हम रहता है मलोलो में और हम टैक्सी ड्राइवर है। हम सब टाइम अपन टैक्सी में रेडियो फिजी 2 सुनता प्रोग्राम।
हम सिंगाटोका के हैं, हमारा नाम है रोजी। हम लोग यहाँ पे रेडियो फिजी 2 सुनता है।
राम राम, मैं रेमस प्रसाद बोलता हूँ, तब बताऊँ मैं कोई रहता हूँ। मैं जब भी सुना रेडियो फिजी 2 ही सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।